have been brainwashed by uh, the media. We've been brainwashed by our cultural historians. We've been brainwashed by benevolent assimilation. And we continue to believe that echo chamber. We live in an echo chamber na palagi tayo naniwala, wow, kailangan makapunta tayo sa abroad kasi that's where it is. Hindi ba yung American Idol? Before it became a TV program, American Idol was already an orientation of our country. Our leaders, our elite, we all looked up to America as the model that we want to follow. Don't get me wrong, no? I'm not being anti-American. I'm just saying that siguro over all these years I've overcome that dream. Parang nalampasan ko na yung dream, and I can see what our former colonizers are beyond the propaganda that we have received. And maybe because because I lived in France, I began to see the American reality with more objective eyes. No? Ang mga French, they love to critique the culture américaine. You know, the French are among those who are very blasé and say, les Américains, you know. I told Martin here a while ago, I said, I think if the American ambassador would see this film, he probably would not be very comfortable. And then I remember the part where they're playing the French Marseillaise, and the boy says, liberté, égalité, fraternité, supermarché. Also the French ambassador might that. But, okay, maybe I've been doing a subtle critique of the have nations, yung mga rich nations, whom we emulate as the third world. Wow, yung mga first world countries, ang galing, you know. And in doing this kind of putting them on a pedestal, I think we have to find out that, well, they are there because of historical circumstance. Kaya ang nangyari, industrialization has put them there, but is industrialization, you know, what is progress, my boy, progress? Is it really all just a blue heaven? There are dark sides of industrialization. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have some progress and material progress, pero pagka nawala yung spiritual balance natin, and I think that's what Kidlat in the film discovers at the end. Nung nawala na yung only friend that he has, the egg lady, no? Yung matandang nagbebenta ng double yolked eggs, no? By the way, that's a true story. That lady, Madame Georgette, was selling eggs and cheese, fromage, and a few other farm products right in front of my door when I would come down to go to work. She was there. But anyway, I decided to include her in the story. But there, the small market vendors cannot survive because of the supermarkets. And maybe now today we have this mall culture in the Philippines. I have a feeling that Manila has more malls per square meter of land than any part of the world. But that's another story. Pero yung concept natin ng progress is maybe what's the subject of my film. And we have to examine that echo chamber. No? The echo chamber that says progress, you must consume. Progress, you must have this car. Progress, you must have that condominium. And in the end, if you really watch what's happening abroad, all these rich countries, they're not much happier just because they have all their material things, no? Di ba? Tayo dito, maski na kayod tayo ng kayod, you can still see people smiling. Talagang, they're still in touch with life. They're still in touch with, maybe because we're still closer to Mother Nature. Well, not in Manila. In a 5-hour traffic, you cannot stop to smell the flowers. Anyway, I hope for those of you who maybe this is your first independent film or experimental film, I hope it didn't turn you off. I know we have habits of watching films, and when we watch films na you hear 1,000 violins, so you'll fall in love with Piolo Pascual, you know, or you hear this tension music, because somebody, is going to come out of the screen. We're used to that, and sometimes when I sit with the normal audience, I wonder, can they break away from that habit? Because wala na, we're used to looking at films with this, you know, with the frame that we have been given after almost over 100 years of Hollywood. So we have to sometimes challenge ourselves to sit through a film like this, and wow, I congratulate kayo mga survivors. Firstly, those who trekked all over Manila to come here. Pagdating ko, sabi ni Martin, don't be kakunti lang ng mga dumating. When I'm so used to all kinds of audiences, no? Since the 44 years na pinapakita ito, I've had only very few full houses. For me, this is a good-sized audience, and salamat po na natiisan niyo yung bangungot. Pero sana dahil sa bangungot ay merong napapagising tayo na we can wake up with a sigh and say, oh, wow, buhay pa, there's still life. So, magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat, and I hope I will meet you all one day in the street. Let me know of your questions. If any of you have time for a few questions. Any questions, comments, tomatoes? Yes. Which part of the Philippines? So ito ang hometown ng father ko. You know, I'm from Baguio. I just came from Baguio. I missed the beginning of the film. Pero ito is the hometown of my father. My father is from Laguna. Malapit sa Pakil, katabi ng Pakil is Balyan. So, I was raised in Baguio City, so we used to go every summer to Balyan, and I decided to adopt it as a kind of a frame to juxtapose the prom D, where the prom D is coming from, to become a Parisian naive. Yes, other questions? Yeah.
What happened to the Bavarian girl?
The Bavarian girl.
Was he your girl?
She's my wife. We have 3 sons. Tatlong anak namin, si Kidlat, Kawayan, and Kabunyan. And now we have 4 grandchildren. Si Kalipay, Binulan, Kalinaw, at si Amihan. So, it's a true to life story rin. if the egg lady and her double yolk eggs are true, and that's why the line there, I thought the baby looked a little bit like me.
Yeah.
I was hinting, I wanted to include that story of my first offspring, so I was able to put it with the raising of the Onion Tower and with the Third World Ambulance, di ba? Kulang lang na sound, and the jeep zooming off.
Your mother.
Yes, somebody had a question up there?
Would you consider remaking that same film now and introduce some new facets?
That's a nice question. No? When I first finally finished the film, and then I watched it, and then I said, teka muna. Dapat linagyan ko yung ng music dito. Dapat I should have lengthened that shot. You know, there's always this feeling that you want to baguhin ng konti. Especially when you're doing an independent film like this, no? Kasi very often, your lack of resources, you just have to settle for that shot, and then you edit it, and oh, I wish I had some more film stock. I could have shot that better. Or oh, if I had a little more money, I could have gotten nice costumes. Or oh, if I had a nice shot, I could have done a helicopter fly over, or a drone these days. Pero after a while, when I got my the Critics Jury Prize, it was a pat on my back, no? Parang, that's okay. And with all its crudities now, and all the primitive mistakes, if I call them mistakes that I made, I think I've learned to like the film as it is. It's like a first drawing of your child somehow. Wow, it's not Picasso-esque, or it's not Ben Cab-like, but it has a strong feeling. No? So, if any young filmmaker wants to do a remake of the film, which would be probably very different, his duende will be telling a different story from the duende that was telling this story. I would not object, no? I think that story is quite universal. The promedy who wants to go to abroad to the big city and gets disillusioned. And that's the same story. That's the story I had. I just had a beginning, a middle, and an end. Pero wala akong script. Now, I guess if somebody with the proper training and knows the lenses and the best cameras and the best equipment and has the Hollywood budget, maybe they can make a blockbuster out of this film. I don't know. Pero for this particular thing, Bangungod is okay na sa akin. Another one, yeah?
Just curious, did you bring the jeepney to Paris?
Did I bring the jeepney to Paris? Okay, you know, when you have no budget, your resourcefulness comes out, no? Now, I made this film in 1975, pero before that I was an economist working in Paris. And the Munich Olympics was coming along. I wanted to retire from economics. I said it was not my cup of tea. I wanted to go back to theater, and I wanted to write a play. So I thought I'd try to find a way to do that. And anyway, the Munich Olympics was coming up in 1972. So I said, siguro, this might be a chance for me to make a little money, a quick windfall, para pwede ako mag-sabbatical and write my play, you know? So when the Munich Olympics came, I found out that, I don't know if some of you have seen my film Turumba. In that film, a whole village makes a Olympic souvenir, yung Olympic mascot. It's a stylized dachshund dog. That was the Olympic souvenir for the 1972 Olympics. So I made a deal and I said, sige, anyway, you're bringing a container with all your equipment. Why don't you just drive a jeepney into the container? Then you can put your baseball bats, your basketballs, and everything inside, outside, and over. And it won't cost a thing, no? So I won't say I was an economic genius when I did that, but it was a desperation. Wow, kailangan mangyari ito. So I that's how the jeepney got into Paris.
Thank you.
Okay, maybe time for one more. Yes.
I'm just curious, you are referred to as the father of the independent film. So, how do you feel about that? And the second question, I understand you're also an installation artist, so which do you enjoy more?
Okay, the question for those who did since I'm kinikilala ko na father of independent cinema sa Philippines. I mean, there's so many talented filmmakers today. Pero in 1975, when I started this film, indie? Ano yun? Nakakain ba yun? How do I feel about it? I actually, I happen to be 30 years born. I was born 30 years ahead of Raymond Red or Nick Del Campo. And so maybe that's why I got the name Father of. If kung reverse, kung una si Raymond Red or si Raya Martin or any of these people ahead of me, maybe they would have also deserved the title. But if this film, which is probably the father of independent film itself, is the way it was made is still for me, hindi ko mapanila nabuo ko that I reached the finish line. Today, it's much easier to reach the finish line with a video camera, di ba? Pero ito, this is celluloid film. Wala pang video cameras in those days. So, the spirit of making this film, I think, is something that I'm always happy to pass on to the next generation. No? Na kahit na kulang ang financial base mo, kahit kulang ka sa pinag-aralan in terms of this craft, kahit kulang ang mga intimate knowledge of how to write a script or how to handle a camera, nabuo rin. No? So I think, I'm like that. I'm proud to be a tatay for the filmmakers. And the second question was regarding that I also do installation. In the last 10 or 15 years, I've tried to break out of the box na I'm a filmmaker lang, no? I'm known as a filmmaker kasi siguro, yan, 1975, 77 when this film was finished, it created waves, so Kidlat Tahimik became a name known as a filmmaking artist. Over the years, I think, I've written a play, I do performance, and as a matter of fact, I'm here today because I'm on my way to the Naiya airport. I'm going to the Middle East kasi I have a installation about the size of this room, a gallery as big as this, and I'm going to dismantle it. I'm flying out today. So I'm really more an all-around artist, and in a sense na I think maybe we have been taught by our American mentors and maybe also Western mentors that you have to specialize. So you stay on track so that you can become the best novelist, or you stay and you will become the best known filmmaker, or you stay on track and you'll become the president of the Philippines and do a drug war. Anyway, that's always what they tell you, to stay on track, specialize, and be the best. If I look at my life, I did not stay on track, which I should have done as an economist, as an MBA. I would be probably president of Benguet Corporation now. I do it. Pero I've actually strayed on track. I think that's more okay. Okay lang yan. To stray on track. Because unconsciously, meron kang track, meron kang, alam mo basta darating ka doon. Pero whether you go this way muna, tapos unti-unti dito, tapos a few steps there, and then go. Pero you take your time and you finally get to your goal there. I think straying on track is something I would like to be the philosopher and tell the young generation, why don't you guys stray on track? Think about it. I think when you believe in a cosmic guidance, you know, and when you believe, okay, and you also have to believe in the strength of your culture. Let the strength of your culture come out in your storytelling. Ayun. And then you stray and let that, like this, I had to find an ending for the film. By letting it find its own ending, I think, if I had already a fixed ending when I wrote the script, maybe I would not have, it wouldn't have won the prizes it won in 1977. No? Nung hinahanap ko yung ending ko, okay, just, you remember the chimneys and the onion tower, the triple term going up, no? When I did that onion tower scene, after 1 year editing the film, and that was, everybody said, it's a cute scene. We know that you want to put your first baby in the film, so you're creating the scene to have it. But you know, it's too much a detour. So all the professionals would say, it's too much of a detour. In a film story, dapat diretso, stay on track. Yeah, he should just stay in Paris. He gets disillusioned and he blows down the people and then goes back home. But for that whole 1 year that I was editing the film, wala pang space ending. Okay, I didn't have any space ending. And then I went to Paris that one weekend, and that weekend I was there at the Pompidou Museum. They were putting up the chimneys. So I decided to shoot it. And you know, the last roll, when you see the chimney turning around, being put on the top. To save film, I went on a frame by frame. No? Frame by frame means instead of shooting, you take. So pagka ganun, bumibilis yung action. And when I saw it turning, I said, uy, it looks like a flying saucer. Ooh, I have a new ending. Kidlat decides to go home, but he finds the strength of his own breath, no? which is the cultural strength of his father. And there was the myth of his father blowing down the American soldiers, which he discovers. And in the end, he's able to have a new energy for his spaceship. And that's why he can resign from the Werner von Braun Club. So this is the way sometimes, if you're open to cosmic suggestions, suddenly your film will find its own elements to close the story, to close the circle. You know? So by straying on track, I just waited for the right combination of events, and whether it was the Olympics that brought my jeepney there, or that onion tower being brought when we happened to drive through that village and they were putting up the onion tower, or that week that I was in Paris and they were putting up. I think all these were contributions of everyday life. They're there for you to be picking, for like apples for the picking, or mga dalanghita for the picking. But if you don't notice them, you won't pick them up. And sometimes when you have a script and you want to go on a straight line to finish this novel, or to finish this painting, or to finish this film, and you're just with blinders, maybe you will get there very fast, and you will finish that film, and it will have a very different feeling. So if it leaves a little bit of something ambiguous to you, no? It's not like a Star Wars film where everything's very clear. You know, you can watch a Star Wars film, you can fall asleep. You wake up, you still know who's the good guy, who's the bad guy, who's going to ride off into the sunset with 1,000 violins, no? Pero ito, I think if you guys stayed until the end, I think maybe there was something in the way I made that film na medyo you're still curious to taste a little bit what's in the ano pang hinalo nitong loko-lokong itong director dito sa menu that he cooked for us. And you're curious enough to try a little bit more, a little more, and at the end, I didn't die from indigestion, and maybe there was something interesting going on in my stomach. And that's how we should look at independent films. The formula films are easy to predict. Alam natin always how the film is going to come towards its climax. But independent films, you have to participate. You have to sit there, and while the filmmaker is cooking his brew, you join the cooking process. Yes, one more question. Okay.
Yeah, well, that's true. When I watched this, I was more attracted to the French film, but yet you're Filipino and you're showing a film which is transition from the Philippine way of life to the French. But why are we supposed to watch this in a French film? Why don't we have this in the English film? It's Independence Day anyway. So what I like about it is really a documentary for Filipinos and looking at the way of life, especially the circumcision part. Made me really laugh because that's the old way of the whole circumcision. And you go to all the extent of even the anti-American in the Philippine War. Did you really know about your father?
Pardon?
You fought during the Philippine-American century?
It's a fictitious one, just to make the connection of discovering the strength. So our Katipuneros had a very strong spiritual inside them. No? We read history books and we know that the Katipuneros were an armed movement. No? Because our historians are Western oriented and they write only the battles, who lost this battle. Pero before, to start with, the KKK was a spiritual brotherhood. Hinahanap nila yung liwanag, kaliwanagan. It was the search for enlightenment that first got them together and then later fought for liberty.
What I saw in your film is depiction of the martial law regime, and you were really an activist. And I was an activist too when I was in the UP days. We fought the Marxist regime. So I was looking at the 1975 video, and you go on to 1976 when we had the world, we started building on the LC. And that's a very good.
Well, at least because the French embassy put it on the screen, and maybe it also had the French ingredients being in Paris. Now we're all here together, and I think in the end, all it says is that a film will find its way to the audiences if it has some kind of a parang un goût de vin, no? If there's a little taste in the wine, it will find the taste buds that are looking for it. So maybe that's why cosmically you are here and I am here today.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Well,
Anyway, thank you everybody, and have a nice sleep tonight. Don't have any serious bangungot.